Good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 5 here at CSGB. We are at Belgium tonight for round 5. We've had a heavily competed first 4 rounds of the season, and I'm sure the drivers will be ready for another competitive round here today around Spa circuit. The weather aspect will be an interesting one, so let's see if the drivers can take what comes their way as they begin short qualifying in just a minute or two's time. So it does look cloudy then for this qualifying session. 18 minutes to try and get some laps in before the rain comes down, it seems. Hopefully the drivers are well prepared and got the pace. I did see a little bit of rain flash there on my screen, so it might be raining already. We'll have to wait and see. Let me just enable some of these details for you all. Everyone is currently on the soft compound with a few drivers choosing the mediums. But while we allow the drivers to go on their outlaps, please let me know how you're doing in the comments. I hope everyone is well. I want everyone to give me a few race predictions and how they're feeling for the race. While they're going out, I will talk you through the current driver standings. So, here you go. As you can see, I only have 15 drivers on the screen. I do apologise, there are more down below, but these are the only ones I could fit in at the minute. Currently, we have Netski at the top with 106 points after 8 races, so a good score from him, but nothing you wouldn't expect from the Swede. Nicholas Eklund behind, a fellow Swede, not too far behind, only finds himself 21 points behind the leader, followed by Liam, who has left unfortunately, so he will remain on 57 points for the rest of the season. Kazakhs has been consistent so far this season, picking up 57 points. Only 1 point behind is Jay Wizzy, putting up a fight from the middle of the pack. Noah Jones has been there, stable as usual. You'd expect that from him. He currently sits in 6th place. Hindle, who's a reserve, is in 7th. Silly Sly Guy, who has only raced 3 races, gets himself 32 points. He's in 8th. The Rain Man himself is currently in 9th. Jay Prentice is at 10th. Mercedes is currently in 11th and 15th. With in between them we have Oscar Samblum, Rappel and IMAX. Let's have a quick look at the team standings. Here you are then. We have AlphaTauri on top. Netski waving the flag out front with a good assistance from Rainman. Alfa Romeo are currently in 2nd place with Williams in 3rd. Renault are 4th. Ferrari 5th, Haas 6th. McLaren 7th, Mercedes 8th, Racing Point 9th, and Aston Martin pulling up the rear. It's very close in the middle of the pack, you can see. But I'm going to take you back to the qualifying action now, and I can tell you that it is raining. There is rain in the air. So that means we're going to have a very interesting qualifying session. It's going to be down to the drivers to see who can put in the quickest lap. As we will have some drivers out and about starting their laps. We'll try and find the front runner, and that will be, I believe it's a Haas. It will be, let's try and find, it's either Messerschmitt or Rappel. Well, it's Messerschmitt, but he has already validated, so we'll try and find a second guy on the lap. That is a Racing Point of IMAX. So here we are on the medium tyres, only one of 3 drivers on the medium tyres. He is putting in a shift in the rain. It's going to be an interesting one for the drivers. So let's see what happens. M. Pricey is out already. You can see a yellow flag up the chicane after the Kemmel straight. He has put his car into a wall and he is out of qualifying. So it's back of the grid for him. Quite clearly cannot contain himself in these wet conditions. So then. IMAX bringing it up the bus stop chicane then. You see the driver ahead of him of Messerschmitt staying out after invalidation. He's got to bring it to line, put the first lap in of a 1:44. So it's not rapid, but you wouldn't expect anything other than that in those conditions. Kazix puts himself into first place on the soft tyres. CSGB Guy splits to Williams, puts himself in second. Lots of cars coming to the line now. We have a Mercedes. It's either Carwin Roberts Trench who comes to the line. We'll stay on board with Jay Wizzy as he's bringing it up to the bus stop chicane now. We have a lot of times flying in. Kazix still on top. Netsky has put it in second. The times are only going to be getting slower the more rain that comes down. So here comes Jay Wizzy to the line. Where can he put himself? On the medium tyres. Puts himself up to 12th place, so the medium tyre gamble hasn't really paid off for him. We have another Haas now of Rappel coming to line. He has unfortunately invalidated, so he's going to be losing time after time after time. We jump on board with Carl and Rob now, who's in Sector 2. Hoping to try and put himself up there with his Mercedes teammate, who's currently in 4th position. These drivers are going to be panicking now to try and get a good lap in because the rain is only going to come down more and more by the looks of things. The clouds aren't going anywhere and the sky does not seem to be brightening up. So let's have a look and see what Carl and Rob can put on the table. He is also on the soft compound tyres. Silly Sly Guy is laying in a very good position at the moment in 3rd place for those mediums. I'm not entirely sure what the race is, what's going on with the race in terms of weather, but we do have another incident up in the chicane up at turns 7, 8 and 9, and Carwin Rob puts himself in 13th place, and not the fastest lap from the Welshman, but at least he's got one on the table, unlike the Haas boys at the moment. We do have JD filling in for Red Bull today, the only reserve I believe that is filling in. Other than that, we do have a full grid, which is amazing to see. Triby is joined by JD today. No James Dovey, unfortunately, after picking up a good result last week in the feature race. But today he misses out, and it's JD's turn to fill in. A couple of cars coming to the line now. They may be coming into the pit lane, and my guess is as good as yours. They all do seem to be coming towards the pit lane, unless anyone is pushing again. It doesn't seem like they are. So we just jump on board with a few drivers to see what they're doing. And it seems they're all stacking to go into the pits. No one really pushing. We do have a Haas though pushing. This might be Rappel. It is. So Rappel making his debut in a Haas today. The new driver, I believe. Him and Messerschmitt's taking the 2 open seats, and they are now the full-time Haas driver. Rappel, I know, has got a lot of pace about him. This lap is not looking too quick though, as he sets a 1:48.2, and he does not improve at all. Will he go again? He's still got enough ERS, but it's fuel light is flashing, so maybe not. The Mercedes here of Carwin Rob is not the one going slowly. That will be Vapor Trench, who appears to be going extremely slowly. So will he be setting himself up for another lap? The answer to that question is no. So the driver's already clearly feeling a bit of the strain of the wet weather. And we have a lot of drivers coming to the pit lane. JD now may be beginning a lap. He is. So we'll stay on board with the Red Bull fill-in driver at the moment. I've been told that it will be a dry start to the race and then 20 minutes in very wet, wet to very wet. So it's going to be all action on the grid, and hopefully the drivers can live with that. We have a Williams coming out behind JD, but JD the only man who's still got his car intact. He spun round. I spoke way too soon. Well, if that's not the commentator's curse, and I don't know what is, his car is not intact anymore. He joins Pricey on the losing a wheel list. And he has lost a wheel, and he will no longer be setting a time. That's 19th place for JD. And an unfortunate start to his time in the Red Bull. As you can see, Kazix out on track. Kazix also out of his lap. Out of the track limits. And that's him out of this lap. A few drivers switching onto the intermediate tyres, you can see, just to see if the pace is any different. We'll jump on board with whatever Ferrari this is. It is Noah Jones on an outlap. Oscar has already called it a day, so maybe we'll see a few more drivers calling it a day. Eklund also, and Vapor Trench. So that may be the end of qualifying early, only halfway through the qualifying session, and cars are calling it a day. And as you can see, Noah Jones is struggling on the dry compound, which only means times will not be getting any faster. And that, I guess, will be it for qualifying. I'm not entirely sure why the cars are staying out on track, but hopefully this will be ended sooner rather than later. We have a James Dovey prediction in chat. He believes that car is cursed. The man who has left his car to JD is now saying it's a cursed car. But we do have a few drivers out on intermediate tyres, so the qualifying is not completely finished. It's not dead and buried. We have Netski's currently in the pits with iMags and Jay Wizzy as well as Messerschmitts, both all out on inter runs. So it'd be interesting to see if they can set up a better lap than they've already done here. I believe a decent lap in very wet conditions is around a 2-minute mark in the wet, so all the drivers well inside that mark. It's going to have to be an incredibly good lap, but as you can see, the rain does seem to be halting, which may mean with the final minutes of qualifying there may be a little bit more grip in the track, but as you see it still is coming down. Yes, but like the comments say, it's good to get a bit of practice for the wet tyres, and that seems to be what some of the drivers are doing. As you see, Jay Prentice here bringing it round. We've got to see what Jay Wizzy's up to. Well, we'll start with iMags. iMags is just starting a lap now. Man is sitting nice and comfortably in the table. I'm sure he will be... Oh, sorry, it's Jay Wizzy using company in the table. iMags did win a race, but unfortunately it was disqualified due to fuel restrictions. No DRS for the cars, as you can see. That wing is not open, so these lap times are not going to be improving. Just a little bit of practice for the drivers. 6.5 minutes to go here in Spa. Rain is always possible in any of the European tracks here on F1 2020, and that theme continues here. As you can see, I'm struggling on the intermediate compound, a little bit of back end trouble. Be interesting to see what setup the drivers have gone for, as I do hear there will be a wet race at some part with a dry start, so some drivers may be going for a hybrid. As we see Messerschmitts call it a day, and 3 drivers left are the ones left out on circuit. It's a 2 racing points, and Jay Prentice getting himself a bit of practice. I believe Messerschmitts has actually crashed his car coming out of La Source, and on the approach to Eau Rouge he has put it in a wall. Both racing points are in the pit lane now. Oh no, not. Oh, sorry, I just didn't see them on the map there. They'll be coming round the final few corners. As Jay Prentice now bringing it around the right-handed hairpin. Giving it a good old go on the intermediate tyres. You can see there's a lot of puddles now forming on the track. Hopefully he is capable of keeping the car intact. He's keeping it valid, so he seems to be having a good time. Let him roll. These racing points are just staying out. Interesting. His latest teammate passed. Jay Wizzy is going for a flyer then, thinking he can improve maybe on a 145. Oh god. Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? I've cursed another man up Eau Rouge. And if the drivers are doing this in qualifying, what's going to happen when 2 drivers go side by side in the wet weather? Another man, another victim falls to Eau Rouge. And now we only have 2 cars left in this qualifying session. And they're just enjoying themselves and using every little bit of time they can to possibly do this. As this continues, I'll take you back and run you through the standings again if we didn't see them last time. Here is the current team's championship. So we do have Kazakhs currently on pole with Netski in second. So Kazakhs will take that incredibly well. I'm sure he will enjoy that. As you can see, Kazakhs is currently 4th in the standings. Netski is in 1st. So most drivers only been able to set 1 lap. And that is all drivers have now retired from the session. So let me go back to this race screen and I'll run you through the standings. So here you are then, Kazakhs. has taken pole and is starting in a nice position. Netski is in second, always on the front row. You seem to find him. City Sly Guy's done an amazing job there, getting a good lap in on the medium tyres early on. And that sticks him on the second row on the mediums. Vapor Trench is in fourth place. Eklund is in fifth. Vapor Cobalt puts himself up the order. He's in sixth place. Noah Jones gets a good qualifying and a good position again. He's in seventh. IMAG on the medium tyres also in a good position in 8th. Roimsey currently in 9th, and Oscar rounds us the top 10 on the soft compound tyres. Everyone else has a free choice. 2 people did not manage to set a time. But it was a good competitive 1 lap quali pretty much. And it'll be interesting now to see what this action has ahead of us. You can see it's an extremely sunny day here in Spa, but the announcement that there will be rain later on may cause a few issues for some of the drivers. I think the medium runners are the ones to look out for if the rain is coming in about 20 minutes time. Those mediums can go a good chunk into the race. Maybe you may see some drivers stay on the hard tyres, the hard compound, but we may see intermediates and even the full wets come out at some point. Just gotta wait for the drivers now to set up their fuel settings. And let's take us through. We've had Priority lead the session. That is unfortunate. So that may be a disconnect. He cannot rejoin until the formation lap has ended. Otherwise, that will glitch the lobby out. But for now, I'm going to show you some of the track information.
Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success.
The drivers now getting ready. They will be readying up shortly. We will change the little thing in the bottom left from qualifying to not sprint race, the feature race. This is 22 laps here at Spa. City Sly Guy has readied up, and so has Bowers. CSGB Rayman hasn't, so there will be an inquest into that. But now he has, so the drivers now have 12 seconds to get their cars ready before we do our formation lap in the sunshine. The drivers have now readied up, bar Oscar Sandblom. Looking through the grid now, we see some of the tyre compounds. It is a mixed bag in the final 10. Soft hard being said to be the fastest strategical decision here, with a 2-stop possible. I believe a 1-stop is possible if you can push those soft tyres out to get onto the medium tyres earlier on. We have a look here. With the back 10, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers choosing the medium tyres, and the other 4 are going on the softs. Could indicate that the rain is going to be very close to the crossover period of the lifespan of those soft tyres. It'll be an interesting race for sure. Anything can happen. We may even be being lied to about this rain, but hopefully the drivers can keep the pace, keep the cleanliness. We didn't have one single safety car last week for the second week in a row here in F1. So a fantastic job from the drivers. And they will continue to do their best and keep that going for the future, I'm sure. But now the cars come to the line. Kazakhs in the pink helmet bring us to the first row of the grid. He has the inside line for the source here at lap 1. We don't want any lap 1, turn 1 carnage you normally associate here at Belgium. With the drivers, I'm sure will be ready, as we now have M. Pricey, who was unfortunately missing the sprint race, coming from the back of the grid. Pulling into his pit box now, so that means we'll get a green flag and the lights will go out very shortly. Here we go then, just waiting. That's not a very good camera angle. So, the lights are on. The engines are engaged, so the clutches. And we're underway here in Belgium. It's going to be all guns blazing into turn number 1. A little bit slow off the line was Kazakhs. We do have a bit of a mess up on the board, and all I can see now is a building. But it's Silly Sly Guy side by side now with Netsky up Eau Rouge. Netsky has the outside line, which will turn into the inside line as we go up the Kemmel Straight. ERS is being deployed. We don't seem to have any cars who have lost it. Roimsey has dropped back to the back of the grid, so he must have had an issue into La Source. It's a bit bunched as we scroll through the grid now. No real moves being made. Side by side there between the Ferrari of Bowers and Tryby, and Bowers gets his way through. Tryby's fighting it back though, around the outside, and the Red Bull gets the move. The Ferrari's getting very close to each other now as one locks up. Down the inside goes Bowers, and he will keep the position from his teammate Noah Jones, and these two need to stop scrapping. They want to get points today, both in the points currently, and that is a clean start yet again here at CSGB F1. Kazakhs leads from Netsky and C Sly Guy and Vapor Trench, so no moves made in amongst the front three. There's a bit of a gap formed back to a few drivers. That's probably due to the timing glitch. We'll have a look and see how many places people have made up. Position changes. So Tryby has a great start in the Red Bull. Red Bull seriously needs some points. Currently sat bottom of the Constructors' Championship. He's moved up 6 positions and puts himself in 8th place. Rappel and Noah Jones choppy and changing as I look through the scorecard. Mags has dropped down, unfortunately, and Roimsey had a terrible start. We have a yellow flag back here. Is that Jay Wizzy? It is Jay Wizzy. He has wing damage. So that is wing damage for one of the racing points. I'm sure he will jump into the pit lane and get that changed. And as I say that, he does. So that is one car into the pit lane already after. And that's 2 more following. So Pricey and Roimsey are into the pit lane. And that's 3 cars into the pits on lap 1 here at Spa. No cars out of the race as of yet. But it's a cleanish start. And that's what you like to see. Especially here at Spa. Very hard to keep things tight and compact as the timing screen is not helping me out at all. So I'm just going to scroll through and try and give you some good cinematics of any moves being made. It's getting close here as Rappel flings it around the inside. The Haas driver joining today, and he's got past the Ferrari, and the Ferrari boys have dropped down a couple more positions. That may have just been due to the glitch. No, they are still currently in 10th and 11th, I assume. Moving backwards though, Noah Jones is doing a good job of creating a bit of gap to his teammate and holding up the cars behind. Finally we get the resetting of the scorecard, and it is close. It's a very close matchup at the moment. A big old train going back for the top 17 drivers. IMAX has made a move here on Jay Prentice. They are side by side, and Jay Prentice just nicks in around the outside and keeps the position as we fly up towards the final few turns. It is still Kazakhs that leads at the front, and all the drivers keeping it clean. Oscar may look for a move down into the bus stop chicane. He's used all his ERS allowed for this lap, and he doesn't get a move done. But at the front, 4 attempts clear is Kazakhs in the Williams. He's had a brilliant start to the season and looking for that to continue as he ploughs his way up through turn 3 and up to Radilon and Eau Rouge. See Sly Guy keeping on the back of Netsky on those medium tyres, but he will be under pressure from Vapor Trench as DRS is now open for this lap. Oscar Sandblom picks up the first penalty, and here comes Trench. He will have more pace on those soft tyres going up Eau Rouge, but not close enough to make a move. And Silly Sly Guy keeps third position at the moment. He'll be happy with what the job he's doing on those medium tyres, as will Rainman and Tribe, I'm sure, making moves up the grid into 7th and 8th position, taking advantage of any mistakes they can get their hands on. We have our first 1 second gap forming between Rayman and Tribe, and the next one back to Mercer Schmitz and Carwin Robb as Eklund gets past. Has Rappel dropped the car? Has there been an incident back there? I am not 100% sure what's happening. It's a few choppy and changes. There is a Red Bull dropping off the back ever so slightly, but at the moment it doesn't seem like anyone's made a massive mistake. Didn't have any yellow flags. Just JD's dropped off. Tribe's a little bit weavy there, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Rappel's going to go round the outside here. Will he make the move done as Tribe slots in behind? He is on the medium tyres, so he may concede that position just to let the faster tyres go through. Is he going to fight it back down the inside of the bus stop? He is. They touch slightly as Tribe must have slammed on the brakes there to stop himself or the Haas driver spinning round. Tribe will have DRS though, and will probably get him back up the Kemmel straight as they plough into La Source. There must have been a tap left from Tribe just on the back end of the Haas driver and sent Rappel into a little bit of a slide. So that will not be favourable for those tyres. They would have heated up, and Rappel may be a sitting duck here up Eau Rouge. Bo is looking to capitalise on any mistakes as well. Here comes Tribe then, looking left, looking right, as Boas is going to do the opposite to him. Here goes Tribe down the inside. And he's going to be late on the brakes. Yes, he is. So he will get that move done. A little bit of puff of smoke, as you can see someone locking up. Tribe gets the job done. Back in 7th place. A little bit of contact on the rear of the Haas. And all behind him, cars are sitting and waiting to take the positions. But at the moment, it's a good chopping changing in the mid to upper grid. But that bit of fighting between Tribe and Rappel has allowed the top 6 to just pull away ever so slightly. Rayman a little bit on his own. But the top 5 are closely following each other in a DRS train. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that as the race continues. Rappel seems to have regained that place from Tribe. These a lot of fighting. It'd be interesting to see what happens here. We'll have run on board with Boas as he's the man at the back of this little 3-way triangle. It's going to be interesting into the bus stop chicane. So Tribe is in the lead. Boas gets pushed onto the grass. He's going to go down the inside of the bus stop. Rappel will fight around the outside. You know he will. He loves to fight. There's wing damage there for one car. That would be the Williams behind or Vapor Cobalt. It's all got a little bit messy into the bus stop. The drivers could wait a little bit later, but it's going to be too wide into La Source, and Bowers has absolutely licked his lips there and taken a few more positions. Will Rappel get the exit? He will on those softer compound, and he gets the position back. But will that mean he'll have DRS? I don't think it will, as Tribe has taken advantage of the scrap behind him and pulled away just ahead. And here comes Bowers now. Bowers round the outside of the Kemmel straight. And the move's done quite easily for him. Behind, there will be one more move with a Ferrari. Oh, the Williams go for another move. This Williams, of course, now with wing damage of Cobalt. He stays in 10th place for now. But the fighting for the points positions is heating up as Noah Jones lets go down the inside. He does. A little bit of outbraking himself there from the Williams. That wing damage causing him problems. Little touch there, pushing him wide. But Noah Jones round the outside. A fantastic move. Good battle. He knows he has to get past with that wing damage as they now come in to poo on the long left-hander. Williams will be feeling the strain of that as you see him flying wide. Messerschmitt takes advantage of that. I'm sure a few more drivers will as well. Jay Prentice just trying to sneak up round the outside, which will give him the inside line for the next corner. And he takes the position as well. So Vapor Cobalt feeling the full pain of that wing damage, and anywhere around here at Belgium, any damage will cause you a lot of time lost. And he's just dropped back a few positions, unfortunately, getting too close to the action. But Noah Jones is in 10th, the only man inside the top 10 with a penalty. So he'll be hoping that other drivers pick them up soon, as he's got to keep his race clean now. But 5 laps in, the front 4 and 5 are still only separated by 4 to 5 tenths. Eklund has dropped off the pace just a little, but the front 4 trying to keep it nice and intact with each other. We'll stay on board with this as they go up Eau Rouge and see if any moves can be made down the Kemmel Straight on lap 6 that has now begun. Is Netsky looking interested? No, he's not. So these drivers just pulling each other through the track at the moment, using each other's DRS, as we do see a few choppy and change at the back of the grid. Carwin Robb has dropped down a position as Messerschmitt is now right behind his teammate. Noah Jones seems to have made a mistake there. All got done on the DRS, so it's 9 and 10 for the new Haas boys. Currently sitting pretty in 9th and 10th. So the Dutch, is he Belgium or Dutch? I think he might be Belgium. So it might be his home Grand Prix. If I'm wrong, I do apologise. But as you can see in the air, a couple of spits of rain have appeared. So the drivers will now have the decision to make of when to go onto those intermediate tyres if it does come down a little bit heavier. The medium tyre drivers will be hoping it just holds off for a little longer, just so they can make full advantage. Those soft tyres will be feeling a little strained at the moment, as we now see Netsky closing in on the back of Kazakhs. He wants to make a move possibly before the rain comes down fully and try and pull off into the distance, create a bit of space between him and Kazakhs on the pit stop. Not close enough this time to make a move. And I don't think anyone will be, as we do see Kazakhs going into the pit lane now. So it's an early pit stop for the Williams driver. Netsky stays out. Does anyone join him? Vapor Trench joins him. So let's see what tyres they go on to then. I'll be surprised if it's not the intermediates. Let's take a quick look here. It is the intermediates. So 2 drivers pitting early for the inters. And that is a brave decision from the race leader. But Netsky takes over first position. That may mean Jeff has been on the phone telling them to get into the pit box. And hopefully this decision doesn't ruin their race. But we do see a lot of drivers now putting on the intermediate tyres very early. The rain did start coming down last lap. So it's going to be a lot of rainfall, you suspect, if they're putting them on this early. It may come down extremely heavily. We'll just see if Netsky does struggle in these wet conditions. As you can see, going very slowly. Yeah, you can see this rain is coming down, so that may be a very good call from those drivers going on to the intermediates a lap earlier. The people out, the top 7, will be struggling, of course. We see Silly Sly Guy nearly sliding into the wall. Holds it, though. To go back through the grid, Eklund will be struggling. And you can see how slowly the cars are going. We have a yellow flag. That is a Williams up Eau Rouge. Who is that? Is it Kazakhs? No, it's not. It will be Vapor Cobalt. He's just gone onto the intermediate tyres and he's dropped his car. Doesn't appear to have wing damage. No, he doesn't. So he's kept the car intact. Maybe just a little spin for him. As we now see Vapor Trench get past IMAX, who is clearly struggling. And Kazakhs does the same on Messerschmitt. And the Haas driver is struggling on that wet compound, on a non-wet compound, I should say, as he now leaves another position. And Trench gets past him. We'll see the drivers ploughing into the pit lane now. So the soft tyre start was probably a good call from the drivers, as the rain had come down within their pit window. As you see, both drivers coming in, which means Kazakhs will take the lead of this Grand Prix. As he gets past Rayman, who's obviously going to go into the pit lane. He will be foolish if he did stay out. Kazakhs had a good lead then, as the pit stops happen for the wet tyres. As we now see Tribe going in as well, and they would have lost a lot of time on that in lap. I can tell you that for sure. As he comes around La Source, seems to be keeping it nice and calm on the throttle. He knows he's got a lot of time to play into. Where will Netsky come out? Netsky's going to come out just ahead of the traffic of the pitters behind, but he has lost a lot of time, and Vapor Trench has jumped a lot of drivers there by pitting a lap before. And the undercut has worked, as we see all drivers now on the intermediate tyres as they're coming up to lap 8 of the Grand Prix. Oscar Sandblom fighting side by side with Rainman then up Eau Rouge. A little bit slippery that corner. As Rainman goes wide, keeps it out of the wall. And in these slippery conditions, that is always a possibility here in Belgium. As Tribe wants to get with the action. He goes around the outside of Rainman. So a fantastic move there from the Red Bull driver. And he's going to fancy a pop at Oscar if he can get close to the back of the Alfa Romeo. But they've just got to be tentative now on the throttle. It's going to be an interesting battle as the rain comes down heavier than it already has. And apparently I do have reports that the wet tyres may be coming on this evening. So that would be interesting to see. Rappel currently in 5th place on his Haas debut, so done a fantastic job. He has gone up quite a few positions, I believe. He has 13 positions, so fantastic race from him. He was clearly, obviously, one of the early pitters onto the intermediate tyres. As you see, he's done 0 laps on them. Tribe picks up a penalty. So in the middle of the grid, the battle for points may be decided by penalties. Rainman may be thinking about what he can do. Kazac's lead by nearly 5 seconds, so he's done a fantastic job. Fantastic pit stop. And just knew how much that rain was coming down. Good communication from the Williams team. Not so for Vapor Cobalt, who we did see trigger a yellow flag up Eau Rouge earlier on, as he did put his intermediates on, so he lost time off his own mistake, I think. We just scroll back now to the battle for points, and ahead you can see, behind you can see Messerschmitt closing onto the back of Rainman. Will he make a move here? Rainman looks to be struggling up Eau Rouge with that setup, so maybe he's gone for a dry setup for today's race. Whatever is happening, he is getting absolutely steamed past by the Haas, and Messerschmitt moves up into P12, and Rainman moves back again in the rain. Tribe just not closing onto the back of Oscar. He picks himself a penalty earlier on for good measure. But yeah, it's a very dispersed playing field now. Rainman is the closest man on track to the driver ahead. Other than that, everyone is over a second apart. And Rainman must have got a warning there. He did go wide on the exit of that corner. Kazakh though just increasing his lead. Netsky is on a charge though. You can see he was 1.5 seconds behind, and now he's under a second. Obviously DRS has now been disabled due to the wet conditions. Netsky with 83% ERS compared to Trench's 62. I don't think it will be long until we see Netsky pass the Mercedes driver. Netsky wanting to try and get as many points as he can before the feature race. Netsky now, right up the backside of Vapor Trench, putting him under all kinds of pressure. The question is, will Trench be able to deal with it? It seems to be just taking his time, keeping things steady in these wet conditions. There will obviously be another pit stop, I'm sure, I think. Don't think these inters will go to the end. But the rain is coming down even more and more as the laps tick on. So we may see a call for the full wet tyres, which will cause even more disruption to the race, as we have M. Pricey getting the blue flag blinkers on his screen, so he'll be being told to get out of the way. Don't want him holding anyone up. We'll have a look, see if he is. No, he's getting out of the way. Good lad. Out of the way for, I believe that's Bowers. And then shortly following him will be the Alfa Romeo, and he's not getting out of the way on the corner. He does get out of the way afterwards, so Pricey just struggling at the moment, and unfortunately he will not be picking up points unless something drastic happens. But as you see, Vapor Trench and Netsky getting close into the bus stop. Netsky looking to go round the outside. He's trying to force a move, force a mistake maybe from Trench. A little bit of contact there. Netsky trying to force his way through a little bit. But no mistakes happening. No damage, I don't think. Netsky's going to have to wait again to make a move. Messerschmitt is closing onto the back of Tryby, so he's got a bit of pace, has the Haas driver, on the intermediate tyres in the wet conditions. He'll be looking to try and get past Tryby, maybe into La Source. He's not deploying his ERS at the minute. Visibility, as you can see, just getting worse and worse as the time ticks on. Netsky is close though. We'll jump on board with the AlphaTauri driver. He's going to try to go around the outside. He's later on the brakes. Has he got the move done? You bet he has. Good driving there from the Swede. Puts him up into second place. JD has retired in the pit lane. So the Red Bulls called it a day. So he's the first man out of today's race. Clearly had enough. And struggling. Filling in today, the Red Bull driver from F2. So it's got to be a bad race for him. And if he is here for the sprint race, he'll only be starting at the back of the grid. Noah Jones picks himself up another 3-second penalty, so that's 6 seconds for the Welshman. And Netsky just pulling away now from Vapor Trench once he's got past him. I don't think we expected anything different to happen, but Vapor Trench clearly got a little bit shaken by Netsky there, as he's now dropped off onto the back of C. Sligo, looking to reclaim his third place from the Mercedes. Silly Sligo done very well since his return, picking up valuable points for the Renault team. And yeah, he's got to look to try and make some more points as he tries to make a move for the podium positions. We'll stay on board as we get a lovely helicam down the pit straight. Here comes Sligo then. Not close enough to make a move. Will he make one down the Kemble Straight? We'll have to wait and see for that one. He's looking to the outside. He's got the dry line. He's forced the Mercedes onto the wet part of the track, which means his tyres are just going to lose temperature. And that means he'll lose grip for his corner. And as you can see from this camera angle, the Renault comes out before the Mercedes, and Silly Sligo moves up into third place. Bowers going strong here in the rain. He showed his form last season in F2 being champion, and he absolutely smashed the wet races. So we may have a little bit of a wet race specialist on our hands in the Ferrari of Bowers, and he's doing a fine shift here tonight. As is Jay Prentice, who's got himself up into 8th position, and he is one for the race. Struggled a bit in qualifying, as you saw. Let's have a quick look at some of the position changes again. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing. Position change, so yeah, up 9 for Jay Prentice and up 6 for Bowers. So them two going strong in these wet conditions and doing an extremely good job. And I'm sure they're sitting very pretty in the points, and they'll take that with open arms. The gap to Kazakhs has slightly decreased. Kazakhs maybe taking a little bit of time on the intermediates, but he's got plenty of time to play with. Netsky's going to have to push that car to the absolute limit to try and get anything out of him, as we now start the last 10 laps of the feature race. As Jay Prentice, I've just given him a bit of praise, and he picks up a 3-second penalty, but he is in a decent bit of room with Noah Jones behind him, who does have 2 penalties, I think. So he will not mind that, I'm sure. Just keep it clean now. JP. Ekeland just sits there. He always sits there or thereabouts in the 7th place. And he's just going steady again, is Ekeland. Currently sat 2nd place in the standings. And more points. As, again, I start speaking about a driver and they pick up a penalty. So 3 seconds, and it's Ekeland's time. As he moves on the back, we have a safety car. What's happened? Jay Prentice is out of the race, going up Eau Rouge on the exit on the outside. Again, I've commentator cursed someone else. We have a full caution safety car. Jay Prentice out here of the feature race, losing the car up Eau Rouge. The wet conditions causing him too much trouble. And we have a safety car, the first one in 3 races here in CSGB F1. Let's see what the front runners decide to do. Conditions terrible, as you can see. We have sideways rain. I hope you've got your coats in the grandstands, because you're going to need them. You're going to need a hot bath afterwards. The drivers will be wet as well. But we do have a few drivers in the pit lane. We have Roymsey going on to the full wet tyres. Interesting choice. As we now have a few more cars coming up to the pit lane. The leaders, of course. Which would be interesting to see whether they stick on some wet tyres or not. They will, of course, take them to the end. This rain does not look like it's improving. If anything, it's getting worse. So, we have a safety car for the first time in a long time here in F1. Let's see what the choice of Kazakhs is. It's to stay out. I'm sure Netsky will follow him. No, he does the complete opposite and goes into the pit lane, as does City Sligo. Vapor Trench also into the pit lane, and Rappel follows the 4 drivers ahead of him. So Kazakh staying out. Interesting choice. Maybe he feels the rain will improve. Bauer's also into the pit lane, and we will probably have a reoccurring theme here. So Kazakh stays out. Interesting choice. If he didn't choose to stay out, it would have been interesting to see if the AlphaTauri driver behind of Netsky would have gone into the pit lane. But one interesting decision you see there is that they're putting on new intermediate tyres. So clearly the Inters are just as quick, if not quicker than the wets. Rappel has gone in onto the wet tyres. Bowers has dropped down a few positions. Come out in 6th. Eklund Treiby now. A little bit of congestion as they come out the pit lane, but they've just made up a few positions from those who have pitted. Noah Jones has unfortunately not benefited, as neither has Oscar Sandblom. So Kazakhs will be furious with Jay Prentice. He had a solid lead on the Grand Prix, but he will now have a very keen Netsky on his tail on fresh intermediate tyres. And yes, Kazakhs, who had a fine qualifying and a fine start to the race, will now be put under all kinds of pressure. But a Williams driver. It's down to him to defend for the lead, as you now have around 7 laps left. Once the safety car completes this lap. But yeah, all things looking dark, looking dreary, and the rain is just going to continue coming down by the sounds of things. We have a whole new race in our hands. I've got a feeling you might see a few incidents under the restart. But Rappel, though, had a fantastic race. A very quick driver is Rappel, up 13 places from 18th. So he's done an amazing job, has the Haas driver. Bowers also doing a good job, as is Treiby, and Raymond gaining a couple of positions too. Jay Prentice, unfortunately for him, is now out the race. As we now going to begin another lap under the safety car. I believe Netsky's probably favourite from here on to the finish. As you can see, Kazakh's only doing a 1 stop. All cars behind doing 2 down to Treiby. And we have a collision under the safety car. That's 5-second penalties. They were so unnecessary to get. Who's just got them? Noah Jones sits on 11 penalties. We have... Oh, what's happened? Oscar's into the pit lane. Has he got wing damage from under the safety car? Well, there's going to be a steward's inquiry into that one. That's just unfortunate for a few drivers. I'm not sure who was to blame there. It may have been Kazakhstan for going too quickly. May have been Oscar for going too quickly, or it may have been a car ahead of him for slamming on the brakes. Messerschmitt's picked up 5, as did Noah Jones. So, not entirely sure what happened. IMAX is 8, so he may have picked up 1 as well. Not sure what happened, but it didn't look pretty, and that must have hindered some people's races. And I'm sure some drivers will be furious with that, as when you go in the slowest part of the track, the biggest collision happens. And we have an incident under the safety car. Car's weaving. As you can see, that rain is terrible now in the view of Netsky. Netsky just trying to warm those rears up as much as he can, just dropping it down to second and flooring the throttle. It's not great at the moment. Not great conditions at all here in Belgium. When I say there's a storm happening here in Spa, I fully mean it. These are some of the worst wet conditions I've seen on for a long time. Those intermediates surely are not the best choice. Brappel may have made a great decision here. He may be one to watch, because look how wet the track is. If we just scroll through, if we go to Roimsey, you can still see all the way through the track it is an absolute mess. Pricey finds himself in 18th place, but in 14th car in the queue of the safety car. You can hear the rain coming down. Absolutely slamming against the carbon fibre on these cars. And we're going to have another lap behind the safety car. So yeah, it's not looking great. We have another car into the pit lane. That is IMAGs, probably changing onto the wet tyres. And he'll probably catch up by the end of the... is he going to the wets? No, he's serving a penalty. What is the Racing Point doing? Well, the full wet tyres go on. So that's second driver on the full wets. Kazakh's having a few internet issues by the seams of things. But this weather is looking absolutely terrible. Penalties will decide the points positions. As you can see, the final few points will be decided by penalties. Will some of them be removed? Probably, from the steward's report, as we had a collision under the safety car, which is never the best. But while we are here, if you are watching, please like the stream. Would be much appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Just trying to grow here at CSGB. Some great racing action. As you see, some of the fans standing there with the umbrellas out. I don't blame them. Might need a bit more than an umbrella. When this rain continues, you're probably going to need a towel and a change of clothes. Hopefully the safety car will be in this lap, as we now have the infamous safety car train that has been formed as Kazakhs is designed to do drifts on the curbs around Puon. Overtakes are going to be very, very, very difficult in these conditions, because the outside of the racing line, you see Netsky also going for a little bit of a drift himself. Off the racing line, that is going to be flooded. It's going to be wet. It's going to be puddles everywhere. There's going to be a lot of areas where you're going to cool down your tyres as you get the indicator that a safety car is going to be in this lap from race control. So Kazakhs will back up the field. We have a lot of new tyres behind him. He'll know that. He will feel the pressure as they come now down the long left-hander through the forest and through the rain. Kazakhs is now on the grass, so he will not benefit from that on his tyres, I'm sure. A little bit slippery out there, if it's not slippery enough on the track. We have a Messerschmitt fan in the chat. Du Angsthauser Dockum, as we now see the restart The overtake button's out for Kazakhs. He seems to have got away cleanly. He's left a lot of cars on the bus stop chicane. We have Price, he's just getting out of the way into the pit lane. Don't blame him. Done a good job there. Royamsey follows him in. Let's see if Rappel can do anything, though, on his full wet tyres. I imagine he will. We have more grip. I'm sure he will in these conditions. 5 laps, then, left of this race. Lap 17 has begun. We had 3 laps behind the safety car. And as you can see, the optimal grip will be from Rappel on the Haas. Looking to go around the outside down the Camel Straight. Looking to the inside now. Both cars burning the ERS. Rappel's got to go down the inside then. Gets to move ahead and keeps the position. So the wet tyres already starting to pay off for the Haas driver. And I'm sure he's going to look to jump on the back of Silly Sly Guy. With only 5 laps to go. A second off though. A second off. And the drivers ahead of him are all very, very quick. Bowers sitting pretty in 6th. He, I'm sure, will be happy with that. Just keep it on track and he'll take that. Oscar dropping down the grid again for another feature race. He is struggling at the minute. He falls down to 15th place. And IMA's got the move on him, so the wet tyres obviously paying off. As Rappel now closing right in on the back. Look how quick these wet tyres are. So a fantastic decision from the Haas driver to go a little bit deep there to avoid Sly Guy. But you know, he's got plenty of laps in hand to try and make a move. As you see, IMAG's, or that Vapor Cobalt dropping it. Vapor Cobalt has had an incident. He has nearly spun it probably around Puon, which has caused the yellow flag to be alerted. But it's getting very tight here into the bus stop. And lovely switch down the inside from Netsky. A little bit of a lock-up. Kazakhs reads it though, goes deep, which means he'll have a good inside line for this corner. And out the last corner they come. Kazakhs still in the lead. Rappel though, down the outside of the pit straight. We have a yellow flag behind, but for now I'm going to watch this move. And he gets it done. And the Haas driver looking to go down the inside of the AlphaTauri as well. 2 and 1 maybe, but not quite. Noah Jones dropping back as well. A good fight here for the podium positions. Those wet tyres are a fantastic shout from Rappel. The Haas driver coming in today to make his debut. Look how fast, much more grip he has compared to Netsky on the right side now. Around the left side of the Kemmel Straight. Netsky is a sitting duck and up 3 positions now on the safety car restart. The man who chose to go on the wet tyres is now in 2nd place. And he's got to look to go round the inside of Kazakhs, I'm sure, on the next corner. He's not going to be close enough. He's got to bide his time. He knows he's got 4 laps. He knows he's got the superior pace. Kazakhs going deep to get the better exit, maybe. He will get a better exit, but the grip of those wet tyres will stay right on the back of Kazakhs, and he'll feel it. He'll feel the pressure. He's got to park a boat in these conditions. He's going down the inside of Puon, side by side in the rain. Here comes the Haas driver to take the lead. He does take the lead. Fantastic move from Rappel. What a decision this was to put on the wet tyres. And he's flying. Simply flying in the wet. The sitting ducks of the intermediate drivers. And that is a great, great, great race from Rappel. Messerschmitt, his Haas teammate, moving up the positions. He has a penalty. Rayman will know that. But so do the drivers behind. We'll check the penalties quickly. 5 seconds and 3 seconds behind. I think the 5 seconds was for collision under safety car. So here comes Messerschmitt then. He's going to look to make a move into the bus stop chicane. Wide goes Tryby. So Messerschmitt picks up another penalty. He's going to dive down the inside. It's a good move from the Haas driver. Car number 13. Will he get the move done on the switchback? He will. And that is 9th place. He has 8 seconds though. Rainman will know that. IMAX go running outside of Rainman. Bit of contact. Will IMAX look for the move down the inside of the head of the league? He will. IMAX moves up. Rainman knows about the penalties though. So we move back up to the front of the grid. Rappel just pulling away from the front two. Netsky's going to fancy a taste of Kazakhs here. Will he get him into this chicane? No, he won't. He'll buy his time. Plenty of ERS in store. 20% more than the Williams driver. We see IMAG making more moves. Messerschmitt now looking to dive down the inside again. Try and get that position back. They're side by side. IMAG's the wet compound, obviously quicker. We know that from Rappel's decision. But Messerschmitt keeps the position. 9th place for him at the moment. Here comes IMAX though, back down the inside. He's going to fling it. He's going to hold the inside. Be careful of that curb. That curb is slippery. But the superior grip of those wet tyres means IMAX takes position back. And 9th place is his for now. JD's left the session. He's been here for a while, but he's not been in the race for a while. As IMAX sticking to the rear now of Tribe. The wet tyres are the quickest at the moment. Here he comes then. The Racing Point looking to the inside. Not there. He would clearly make a wrong move if he decided to make a move there. The gold and blue helmet repping the CSGB colours. And all he's going to be seeing at the moment is the rain flooding his eyelids. And it's a bit of a mistake from Tribe. He pulls out the move. Right decision probably for IMAX. He'll get him a little bit later on. We'll stay on board with this though. Messerschmitt looking and hoping for a mistake behind. Here comes IMAX then. Looking to the bus stop. I tell you who else looking to the bus stop. Messerschmitt. He's got him napping. Good dive. Not good enough though. He tried that a couple of moments ago on Rayman. And he's got the exit all wrong. And nearly spins the car. Here goes IMAX then down the inside of La Source. Takes the wet line. But he's got the wet tyres on. Gets the move done. Up to 8th place then for the Racing Point. Good driving from him. Making the most of that decision to go onto the wet tyres. And a good job he did because he's just getting more and more points at the minute. City Sly Guy then. Oh, Ekelund makes a move on Bowers. Good fight here up the Kemmel Straight. I was going to jump on board with City Sly Guy, but that is not the right option at the moment. Ekelund gains a position. Is he coming back, Bowers? Not close enough. City Sly Guy then on the back of Netsky. Netsky's struggling in these conditions. And at the minute, City Sly Guy still staying in 3rd position. His quality position. And he's staying there for the time. Ekelund now fancied a bit of his friend, and they're close again. No moves are being made for the time being. The rain is coming down in steroids. It's going to be a lot of dirty air and a lot of discomfort through Puon. Taking it nice and slowly, the 2 drivers. Bowers is going to look to capitalise. Kazakhs go to wide. Ekelund does have a penalty. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. Not entirely sure what it is. Bowers knows about the penalty though. He knows about it. Kazakhs has dropped down to 5th place from the restart. I must have missed that. I do apologise. I was too busy watching elsewhere. But the Williams driver has dropped down. He probably deserved the race win after his start, but the weather conditions halted him. He decided to stay out on the intermediate tyres, and that has been the wrong decision. Here comes Ekelund then. Down the inside of the long left-hander. Not quite. Oscar picks up another penalty. IMAX gets past Bowers as well. IMAX just only moving forward. Only moving forward. He does have a penalty though. Here he comes down the inside of the bus stop chicane. Not close enough to make the move, or is he? Nearly contact. Nice and clean though from the driver. As Kazakhs goes deep into both corners. We have a Ferrari round. Noah Jones has gone. We'll go back to that in a second. Wheel spin from the Racing Point driver, but he's got 2 into 1. IMAX, fantastic driving from the Racing Point. IMAX into 5th place. This is fantastic to watch. Making the most of those wet tyres. And I thought during the safety car it was the right time to come onto them. You could just see how wet it was getting. And the gamble paid off. I don't even think it was a gamble, to be quite honest. I think it was more of the correct decision, really. At the end of the day, they're going to have smiles on their faces. Look how far Rappel is in the lead. 11 seconds. If he keeps it clean, keeps it on the track, on the penultimate lap here. Carwin Robb moving forward as well. Oscar Sandblom moving backwards as he's now on the grass, nearly into the wall. Nearly caught that. Not entirely sure if there's contact or not, but Vapor Cobalt puts himself up a penalty. Here goes Bowers then. Going to make a move on the Williams as well. Bit of contact. It's going to be a bit of an incident there, isn't there? No, Kazakhs pulls out. Kazakhs will be angry. I can tell he's going to be angry. You can see it in the way he's looking up to make moves up positions that just aren't really there. The race has gone from bad to worse for him. Is Tribe going to try and make a move on the Williams driver? Not close enough, but I tell you he might. Messerschmitt's looking. It's contact. He's gone for another late dive bomb. Contact between the 2 drivers, and they've kept it on the track. That was a Haas front wing though. You saw that laying there. That is wing damage for Messerschmitt on both sides. So this could play right into Rainman's hands. Noah Jones picks up yet another penalty. City Sly Guy close. Close. Not close enough. Netsky parks his bus in the way, and that's very good defending from the AlphaTauri driver. Although City Sligo's found the racing line, he's found the grip. He's going to have the inside line for La Source. They're side by side, the two fighting drivers. Is he going to make a move? Netsky leaves him plenty of room, but he'll have the exit, I'm sure, by having that deeper line on entry. And as you can see, drives round the outside, still side by side, so this could end in tears. I'm going to stay on board with City Sligo. Both drivers keeping it clean though, as you expect from two talented lads. And here they come then, up the Kemmel Straight, slipstream for City Sligo. Not too much ERS in hand. As we're now on the final lap of the race, I'll put on the penalties to see what's going to happen. If you lot want to calculate that, I will now want a vote for driver in a day in the chat. I'll give you a quick rundown on the position changes. There you are, Rappel. Well, I mean that answers that question for driver of the day, doesn't it? Really, Rappel 17 positions up to first, just different gravy from that lad. We'll keep the penalties on though, as we don't have really any moves. Messerschmitt picks up another penalty, so that is him out the points, I'm sure. Tribe got past Kazakhs as well. Kazakhs just falling backwards. Kazakhs doesn't have penalties though, so may move forward after the classification. It's a little bit tight in this battle for points. They come then round Puon. 5 cars in the train. Oscar keeping it steady. But here comes Rappel then, up towards the bus stop for the final time. It's gone from dry to intermediate to wet. Rappel from 18th on the grid, up 17 places. Your race winner by 14 seconds. Fantastic job from the Haas driver. It's going to be close then, the battle for second place. But I think Netsky's got his name on that trophy. And the third place will be going to City Sligo. But on your late moves here, nearly losing the car completely. Vapor Trench will pick up fourth. A good race from him. IMAX will take third with Eklund behind. IMAX, fantastic job from him. Bowers will take 7th place. Valuable points for the Ferrari driver. Growing into the F1 division. And rightly so, he's got the talent for it. Tribe takes 8th. Not for long as Kazakhs jumps him to 8th. And Rayman takes 9th. Tribe finishes off the top 10. Picks up a point. He'll be happy with that after not picking up any points last time out. And that is your top 10. Jay Wizzy's doing donuts. He's losing places for the sprint race. Gaining places for the sprint race. I mean, I'm not sure if that's done on purpose, but it doesn't seem to be. I was facing the wrong way. But that is it. That is it for the feature race. An absolutely fantastic drive from Rappel. The wet tyres looked like the best option, and they were the best option. Fantastic drive. Fantastic drive from Rappel. Looked like the right move, was the right move. Paid off in the end. And that's the top 3 of Rappel, Netsky and City Sligo. I will start a party and try and get them in for some interviews if they are interested. Yeah, we'll ask in the chat. So there are your final classifications then. 18th on the grid to first position. 2 stops, the quickest. That is first place for Rappel. Second goes to Netsky, picking up vital points for his title charge again. City Sligo showing the pace he's had for the last couple of races. Takes third and the fastest lap by a decent chunk. 2 tenths in the end. Vapor Trench takes 4th. IMAX 5th. Alfa Romeo takes 6th with Eklund, and Bowers takes 7th, Kazakhs 8th, Rayman 9th, and Tribe is 10th. So that is your top 10. Only 2 drivers did not finish the race. Unfortunately, that was J Prince and JD. They'll be starting from the back of the sprint grid. But yeah, that is it. That is it for the feature race. We will leave this. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back very shortly with the sprint race in around 10 to 15 minutes time. A great race there from a lot of the drivers. Good action. Good action. Always good action in the rain. We finally had a safety car. Yeah, but that was that one for now. I will be back in just a minute. For now, I'll leave you with a waiting screen as I just go and get myself a drink. Thanks for tuning in, guys. There will be a sprint race starting in around 10 minutes time. Thank you.
Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success.
Okay guys, we are back waiting for the drivers to get ready. I am refueled and ready for action again for the sprint race. I will talk you through how that happens. So it will be a reversed grid of those who finished, full reverse grid. It'll be 11 laps long, and the drivers will be limited to 27.5 kilograms of fuel. So that'd be the maximum amount they are allowed. And yeah, so there'll be a full reverse grid. So Rappel, obviously, who won the race, will be starting last, just ahead of those who did not finish. So that'll be Jay Prentice and off the top of my head, I can't remember. JD. So we do have McGamer filling in the Red Bull alongside Tribe. So he takes JD's place. And we do have Absy in the Renault, who is filling in for why can I not remember? Apologies for that. I can't remember who was in the Renault. So he's filling in as well, as we have a absentee for that. Yeah, we're ready. We're waiting. There's 2 drivers currently missing, so we will be going lights out very shortly. But for now, the Drivers' Championships, Netsky will improve his lead with that terrific drive for second place. And Eklund picked up good points. Kazakh's also, well, he picked up points, but he lost a lot of points as well, so we're not sure he's going to be entirely happy. IMAX will only be moving forward. He had a fantastic race there, choosing the wet tyres. Team standings, a question of who will benefit. Alfa Romeo, again, Eklund sort of flying a lone flag there. Unfortunately for Oscar, they will be moving up. AlphaTauri picked up points yet again, so their consistency prevails. Williams struggled a bit. Renault did well as well. Ferrari picked up points in the middle of the field. Haas did a fantastic job today. Messerschmitt was unlucky to finish outside the points. McLaren, not the greatest day at the office for them too. Jay Prentice not finishing. Roy MZ struggling. Mercedes did a decent job, got a few points on the board. I'm sure they'll be happy with that one. And Racing Point, IMAX, well, put in an absolute brilliant shift. Jay Wizzy did a job, but not as well as his teammate, and I'm sure he'll be happy for his teammate as well. And Aston Martin Red Bull, Tribe got himself up there or thereabouts, picked up a point or 2, I believe. James Dovey was absent, and his filling-in driver did not finish the race. So that is it for your overall standings. We're still waiting for one more driver, so we are starting soon, I do promise. In the words of a certain mechanic, don't go anywhere. Here we go then. We're loading in for the sprint race. Here at Spa. 11 laps only. But of course it's a long track. Around a 1 minute 45 to 1 minute 50 lap without a pit stop. It depends whether the rain will come down again. But it'd be nice to see some dry action for the lads to enjoy themselves. And put in some quick times around the circuit. Medium soft or soft medium is easily doable as we await Netsky to tick the box. And there we go. We are awaiting to drop into the forest in the Belgian hills. A extremely well-known track, famous across the world for all types of racing. But today we're here for F1 2020. Virtual racing for you in the F1 division here at CSGB. It's round 5. A fantastic sprint race, feature race we just had, and now it's time for the sprint race. Clouds are non-existent. The sun is out, but as they were for the start of the feature race. So as you know, anything here can happen. I'll run you through the grid order when it shows itself to me. We have a few more different drivers coming in to fill places. We have Absi filling in. We have McGamer filling in. I believe that's the only couple of changes I have to tell you about due to drivers being absent from the sprint race. So 2 changes on the grid. They will be taking the positions of the driver they have filled in for, so they're literally a straight swap. Points will go towards the constructors' teams. So yeah, they've got a big job in their hands. And we are getting ready now for the drivers to set their fuel limits. So the max fuel they are allowed is 27.5 kilograms for the sprint race. We have an early driver readying up, so not great from Rappel, but that means got to be quick. CSGB Rainman was not too far behind, so barring they've stuck to the rules, I don't think there'll be any penalties. But of course we do get random fuel checks here at CSGB, which may mean drivers being disqualified from the race they participated in, and those points get taken off their score. But here we go then, ready for the formation lap. Soft medium is said to be the fastest strategy here, as it normally is in the feature race. As it normally is in a sprint race. Oh, sorry. Let's have a look at what tyres people have gone for. As usual, a mix and match, especially on these one-stop circuits. So we have Jay Wizzy starting at the front. Noah Jones is second and Messerschmitt is in third. He dropped down, obviously, after penalties, so not great for him. Vapor Cobalt is in 4th and Oscar Sandblom is in 5th. Roimsey is in 6th. Carwin Robb is 7th. Tryby in 8th position with Rainman in 9th. Kazakhs in 10th. Bowers in... I said Bowers, sorry. I keep saying Bowers. I do apologise. It's Bowers in 11th. Eklund is 12th. IMAX is in 13th on the mediums. Vapor Trench 14th. Sea Sly Guy 15th, 16th and 17th for Netsky and Rappel. Jay Prentice, after sticking it in a wall, starts from 18th. McGamer filling in for Absi. Filling in for JD is in 19th, and Absi is in 20th position. We've got 11 laps of action here yet again. Somehow we've got disqualification from the formation lap. I mean, it's never a race online without that, really. Jay Wizzy looking to put in a shift, getting his team some points after IMAX did it earlier on. He's already won a sprint race this season, and he's looking to do it again from the front of the grid. Ten drivers on the medium tyres, 10 drivers on the softs. Anyone's bet for the strategy. Anyone's bet for the pit stops. That's where the race is going to be decided in a lot of situations. Noah Jones gets himself disqualified as well, and they will be teleported to the grid. So 3 drivers disqualified from the formation lap, but realistically means nothing, just means they can't warm their tyres up. But they're close enough to the finish of it anyway. As Jay Wizzy brings us to the line, the car's not too far behind, and it'll be lights out in a couple of moments' time. So the green flag has been waved. That means we're ready. We have 5 lights, the clutch engaged, and the engines are revving. And the lights are out, and we're off into La Source for the second time of lap 1 of the sprint race. Jay Wizzy makes a good start and keeps his position 3 wide there as the Williams gets pushed wide. There's another car going wide. Doesn't seem to be too many incidents at the minute. Nothing major happening back there. And Jay Wizzy has kept his position. All cars seem to be keeping it clean as we cycle through the field. As they're going up Eau Rouge, the soft tyre cars looking to get moves done early on. IMAX has dropped to the back. He hasn't moved up to the back, it's just a bit of a mess. There's a lot of cars in and around each other, as you'd expect at the start of a race. Bit of contact there between the Alfa Romeo. Red Bull going wide, and that is McGamer into the wall. Wing damage, sticking his nose in the wrong place, unfortunately for him. And he is at the back. We have yellow flags, no safety car or anything. Jay Wizzy keeps the position. Messerschmitt has moved up. Noah Jones has dropped back. So soft tyres obviously quicker here at the start. Tribe making moves as well. And the Red Bull. It's going to be tight around here. Roimsey running outside. A bit deep. Loses positions. As does Rainman. Sorry, not Rainman. As does Kazakhs in the Williams. Kazakhs now looking to go up the inside of the McLaren. Get close. That's always going to happen with the switchback of that corner. Pushed him wide, which allowed Bowers through. And he takes 11th place at the minute. Bit of a gap forming between the front two. Messerschmitt looking to capitalise on that great start. Looking to capitalise on the soft tyres. Jay Prentice got his way through as well. And now he's dropped back again. And lost a couple of more positions. So it's clearly tight in the battle for the points positions. But for now, Messerschmitt is on a charge to try and get past Jay Wizzy. Jay Wizzy is trying to. Vapor Cobalt's going to go around the outside of the bus stop. Here he comes then. We'll have the inside for La Source. Won't need it. He will already be ahead. And should be able to keep the inside line. Obviously, the Alfa Romeo is going to have the better speed out of the corner. That's the wrong one. It's Oscar. On the back of Cobalt. What is going on with the timing screen? I do apologise. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. But here goes Kyle and Rob around the outside of Oscar. Down the Kemmel straight. That will be job done. What is Cobalt's car doing there? I need that to sort. There we go. He actually is ahead of them. So he's in 6th place. Is Cobalt. I hate it how it does this. It's not entirely the most interesting thing in the world. Kazakh's just slowly pulling away. Ahead. Hey, what is going on? At least he really that far ahead. Oh, Jay Wizzy. I'm sorry, I'm lost. There we go. These are the front runners. Jay Wizzy and Messerschmitt. Keeping it within a second. 1.2 back is Noah Jones, who's been pressed by the Williams of Vapor Cobalt. Carwin Robb is also just under enough pressure. Oscar is going to be side by side. No, he's minus seconds behind. I don't know what's going on. The timing screens are having an absolute nightmare. They're not helping me out at all. Rainman looking to put a bit of pressure on the cars in front. As he sees them scrapping, he'll look to take advantage of that. DRS now enabled. It'll be time for Messerschmitt to make a move up Eau Rouge and through the Kemmel Straight. Although it seems that Jay Wizzy has got a very good exit out of La Source. Here they come now, up Eau Rouge. Flat out, of course, in the dry, both on a soft compound. Doesn't get much quicker than this. Will the gap close enough for Messerschmitt to make a move? The answer is going to be no, not at all. Colin Robb's going to think about it, not make a move. No one is going to be making a move, I don't think, here. Behind Tribe is CSGB Rayman. He's too far back also. Roimsey closes on the back of Bowers for the final point position. Doesn't take it though. And back. Netsy's looking to make a move on Eklund down the inside. Eklund keeps it deep. We have a yellow flag. Prentice is out of the session again. Oh, goodness me. That was a big impact from the McLaren driver. So 2 did not finish his in a row for him. He will be pulling his hair out. Didn't look like a big impact there against the wall on the outside of that turn. And we have a virtual safety car. So drivers being slowed down, keeping a delta pace. I don't want to see any drive-through penalties come in. Messerschmitt and Jay Wizzy leading the way. Virtual safety car still out and about. It's very tight in the middle of the field. As we see Messerschmitt and Jay Wizzy both jump into the pit lane of the virtual safety car. Probably quite a decent decision that. As we also see a Oscar Sandblom. But as they've jumped in, the green light flashes again. So we're underway and racing. I'm not sure how much time they would have gained in the pit stop. But Noah Jones takes the lead. And he will be flying. I'm sure he may try and go for an overcut. CSI guy is currently in second. Follows the same strategy as the other medium runners, as you'd expect. Eklund stays out for another lap, and Netsky is already up into 6th place, and he's put a absolute shift in, and he's looking to try and get on the podium into back-to-back races. Eklund makes a move then round the outside of Roimsey and takes 4th position. Eklund back up in the points again. Bowers holding his own, a little bit of a lock up into that corner. Netsky slides down the inside quite comfortably of Roimsey, and he's up to 5th position. Messerschmitt and Jay Wizzy, both cars to have pitted. The net front runners at the moment currently have Absy between them, but not for much longer, as Messerschmitt takes it down the inside. I think Absy knew he was there, knew he's quicker, and lets the race for the front 2 carry on. We're 4 laps in now. We have a bit of movement up here. Eklund looking at the back of Bowers. Bowers is going to have more ERS. Eklund looking to make the move early. Here he goes down the inside of the bus stop. It's going to be side by side. And he pushed him into the pit lane, and I think he's going to make that move anyway. So maybe just trying to put Bowers under a bit of pressure. But Bowers does well and keeps the position. Netsky sets the fastest lap then. He's certainly on a charge. He wants that position. Shorts just up to 3rd to stop the wheel spin. And he will probably get Bowers on the Camel straight with the DRS. Those softs obviously have more grip at the minute. And here he goes. Nearly gets the move done before the DRS is even opened. And there goes the Ferrari slotting in behind. And that is Netsky up to P2 currently. Messerschmitt making his way back up. Gets in front of Jay Wizzy for the net lead of the race. Good move from him. Missed that one, I do apologise. Absolutely putting Jay Wizzy under pressure, but the new tyres of the cars in front just causing Absolutely to fall back just a little bit now. Cobalt side by side with Oscar into the turn right-hander. We have another McLaren round, so McLaren stays going from bad to worse. Vapor Cobalt had the inside, and now he's got the outside. It's going to be tight on the exit as they come now to Pouon. It's going to be side by side. Oscar's ahead. If Cobalt pulls out cleverly, he's going to have more pace though by doing that. He's got to clip that curb. Be careful there, Cobalt. But Oscar's got a move done. Rayman's got a fancy a move here. Ironman's picking up the only penalties so far. 3 seconds for him. I believe he got one earlier on as well, so that will be 6 seconds. As Jay Wizzy and Messerschmitt now only 8 tenths apart. As we see Silly Slide Guy jump into the pit lane. Netsky stays out on the softs for another lap. Maybe hoping for another virtual safety car or a safety car. Bowers joins, so clearly feeling that the softs are now the right time to go onto them. As Netsky set the fastest lap, Messerschmitt also set the fastest lap. on the medium tyres. Messerschmitt in a great position now to go on and win this one. The Haas driver looking very composed and very good. As you see, a lot of pit stops happening now, so a lot of chopping, changing in the middle of the pack. Jay Wizzy then looking to mount a charge to get revenge on what happened the lap before. Is he going to be close enough? He's not choosing to use his ERS, so Messerschmitt keeping ahead for now. Noah Jones not close enough to make a move. Here's Oscar though. We have another yellow flag. That's another Haas round. That'll be Rappel. After such a good and such a brilliant feature race, he has found himself in a bit of trouble and down the grid. So that may be his chance of points out the way. As we saw, Kazakh's getting past Vapor Trent. Tribe picks up a penalty, currently in 12th place. Kazakh's also now has a penalty. Here's Noah Jones. Looking to jump on the back of IMAX. He knows IMAX has a penalty. He's on the brand new tyres. So Noah in a good position here to mount a charge and make a move. Welshman clearly got the better pace on these tyres in a minute. Choosing to burn his ERS early on. Oscar picks himself up a penalty too. We may see a move be made here by the Ferrari into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go for it? Not close enough this time. Maybe on the other DRS straight. As we now have Netsky into the pit lane, which means Messerschmitt takes the lead with Jay Wizzy right behind to a battle to the finish if they can keep it clean. IMAX has come out in third. Not sure if he's pitted yet. Noah Jones currently sitting fourth. He'll be happy with that. Silly Sly Guy out in fifth place. Brand new soft tyres for him, so he'll be steaming up behind the cars in front. Oscar doing well in sixth place, and Vapor Cobalt also doing fantastically. Noah Jones then mounting a move on IMAX and gets past him round the outside. Good move from the Ferrari driver. Rayman also looking to make a move round the outside of Vapor Cobalt. He nearly loses the back of the car. It's going to be close on the inside of this turn. And the Williams driver takes advantage of the mistake. And I'll tell you what, Kyle Rob's got a fancy bit of the action as well. 3 wide nearly into this turn. The Mercedes is looking. I think Rayman will get away with the mistake. Netsky moving forward 2 behind. Both AlphaTauris now in the points and looking to try and get a few more. It'll be good for them to try and both finish in the points for a race. Struggled to do that the last couple of weeks. Still only 8 tenths between the front two. Messerschmitt, I think, may have a bit more pace. Chopping, changing between Eklund and Bowers. And it looks like Eklund's got the better of that duel for now. Silly Sly Guy then turned to make a move on IMAX. And fairly comfortably, the Renault driver makes that one and completes the move. And that's 4th position for Silly Sly Guy. Doing very well at the minute. We'll have a look at position changes, and as I say, he's doing very well. He picks up a fastest lap as well. Got the fastest lap last time out. We have a yellow flag on the bus stop. That is Carwin Rob gone round. See if he's got damage. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think he has. No, he doesn't. He just obviously put the throttle down too early on the exit of the final corner. And he finds himself down the grid. Jay Wizzy not close enough to make a move this time out down the Kemmel Straight, but just closed the gap by 3 tenths or so. Rainman now making a move side by side, chopping change between him and the Williams again, and Rainman moves up. Good for him. Netsky also got past Eklund at some point. Netsky's now going to put him under. Oh, Messerschmitt has got himself a 3-second penalty. If Jay Wizzy can keep it clean now, he will take the win. His second sprint race win will be his if he can just keep it clean, keep it on track, and stay within 3 seconds of Messerschmitt in head. Unfortunately, Messerschmitt has put himself up a penalty, which is going to be very irritating for him. Noah Jones has got the better of Sly Guy. These two are close. Roymsey picks himself up a penalty, so McLaren stage just going from bad to worse, it seems. But here comes the Sly Guy then. Will he make a move into the bus stop? Noah Jones knows he's there. You can see him. You can hear him. You can feel the car vibrating next to him. Later on the brakes is the Sly Guy. And that's a fantastic move from the Renault. You can just see how much later he was on the brakes. And that's all together got in that position back. Netsky picks himself up a 3-second penalty. Eklund will be looking at that with open eyes as he sits 1.3 seconds behind the AlphaTauri driver. That is a Ferrari coming out. Still ahead of Sly Guy. I have no doubt that Sly Guy will get the position here. Not even burning ERS. Noah Jones goes inside. Sly Guy goes outside. And ahead into third place. I believe we'll see this chop-in changing. As we're now on lap 9 out of 11. Vapor Cobalt back past Netsky. It's seeing George Netsky trying to go down the inside. No, not this time. Cobalt, the American driver, keeps it right where he needs to keep it. And he keeps himself in the AlphaTauri sandwich just for the moment. His Netsky can go down the inside. He's looking at it like it, you know. He's going to try and hold it around the inside. And no move made. Vapor Cobalt doing a good job of keeping his position at the minute. Kazakhs and Tribe be getting a bit of altercation. But at the moment, they're not challenging the points, it seems. At the front, Messerschmitt has just put his foot down a little bit. You can see 1.3 seconds now his lead. Needs to double that and a bit more to try and possibly force a win for himself. The gaps have opened up. So Netsky is the closest driver to his opposition. He needs to get past that Williams. They're both on 3-second time penalties. No, Cobalt has 6 seconds. So Netsky will know that. He can play it easy if he wants. He's going down a dive the inside. Here he goes then. Netsky going to be late. They're side by side. And Cobalt pox that bus again. He's just frustrating the Swedish driver at the minute. Netsky's pulled over. Not sure what happened there. He may have had a bit of disconnect. You see that? He slowed right down. And Bowers takes that. Eklund takes that. And Netsky drops back a little bit more. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe a slight disconnect of a wheel. Maybe a slight disconnect of a pedal or something like that. But he dropped back. Imag's getting close to Noah Jones. In fact, he's not getting close. He's past him. And Noah Jones drops back, nearly losing the car there. So a bit of contact from IMAX. Racing Point sitting very pretty in 2nd and 4th. But Jay Wizzy's going to hope that he can go on and take the win of this race. He's in a great position to do so. Silly Sly Guy also is now trying to jump in on the act. He's putting Jay Wizzy under all kinds of pressure. As we now have 1.5 laps to go of this sprint race. It's been very quick. It's been a lot of chop and changes. We have a yellow flag. That is a Williams gone round. That will be Kazakhs. So his day's gone from bad to worse. He is round. Hopefully not in the way of anyone. There must have been a big impact. No front wing at all for the Finnish driver. And that is his race all but done. It's close though. Here comes Sly Guy then. He made a move earlier into the bus stop chicane. He's not going to be close enough this time, I'm sure, to make one. But a DRS straight coming up may make a difference. Colin Robb picks himself a 3-second penalty. Messerschmitt will drop back down to 3rd place if he stays where he is. No penalties for the 2 cars behind him. Noah Jones picks himself a penalty. Rainman will like that. Noah Jones gets past IMAX. Am I right? IMAX was disqualified. How has he been disqualified? What on earth just happened? IMAX was disqualified. I have no idea what happened. But as we won't talk about that for now, as Sly Guy to try and make a move around the outside Jay Wizzy. This will be for the lead realistically of the race. They're side by side. Jay Wizzy's going to want to pot that car as tightly as he can on the inside curb. The Renault gets around the outside, gives him the inside line. Fantastic move from Sly Guy. Fantastic move. Kazakhs retires. Joins Jay Prentice and IMAX. I don't know how IMAX has been disqualified again. He's been disqualified a lot of times. I think that's his 4th disqualification of the season. Something very, very rare. He didn't pit. Oh, that's a big mistake. Didn't pit. Interesting. You sort of have to do that. So, yeah, he's got himself a disqualification. But see, Sly Guy currently sitting in the net lead. Jay Wizzy just not close enough to make a move now. City Sly Guy, at the moment, looking comfortable to win this race, bar any penalties. It's close with Bowers. Bowers will get up the inside of the Williams. And now the outside. It's not close enough. We'll take a look at penalties. Here goes Bowers, then up the inside. He's going to make the move. No, it's later on the break. He's going to force the Williams wide, and he keeps the position just there or thereabouts. 13 place up for City Sly Guy. Will stay on board as they come to the final corner now. Sly Guy should go around the outside of Messerschmitt. He wants to win it on track. Messerschmitt says, no, you're not winning it on track. Or is he? He's got a little bit of oversteer. Oh, no, that's terrible. That is so, I feel awful for him. That is, Messerschmitt's out of the race. City Sly Guy wins. Jay Weezy takes third, and Noah Jones picks himself up a surprise penalty. Messerschmitt will be furious because that is terrible. I'm not entirely sure what happened. We're running for the order. Eklund takes 4th. Rayman takes 5th. Very good race from them two. Oscar drops down a position, takes 6th. Bowers takes 7th, so good double points for him. Vapor Trent takes 8th. Netsky picks up 9th on the back of the grid. Vapor Cobalt takes 10th. And that is your top 10. But Messerschmitt, it must be said, has just been robbed there of plenty of points. I'm not entirely sure why Sly Guy went for a move when he knew he had the penalty. But that was just inevitable. As soon as you fight that down the inside, it's going to spin someone into the wall. And well, I think you saw what happened. City Sly Guy, driver of the day. He did well until the incident into the final corner of the final lap of the final race here around round 5 of Belgium. But he takes the win. I'm sure the stewards will take a look at it. I didn't have the best angle in the world. It looked like he wanted to win it on track. He's won it on the standings. But a absolutely fantastic race, as usual, as you'd expect. Action left, right and centre. Noah Jones picking himself up a podium. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. So here's your final classifications then. City Sly Guy takes maximum points here in the sprint race with the fastest lap as well. Jay Wizzy takes 2nd. Did very well from pole position. Noah Jones from 2nd down to 3rd. Eklund, a good race for him. Good points. As Oscar picks up good points as well for the Alfa Romeo team. Rainman picks up 5th. As Oscar picks up 6th. Bowers in 7th. Vapor Trench in 8th. Netsky 9th. And the other Vapor boy, Cobalt, in 10th place. Absy did well, filling in. Fantastic job from him, I must say. 20th on the grid, up to 1st. Good job from Absy. Triby will be slightly disappointed not to get the points. Cole and Rob dropped down the order. Rappel just couldn't quite make it stick today in the sprint race. Roimsey did well. Didn't do great for him from 6th, dropping down. McGamer, there or thereabouts. Messerschmitt will be not happy at all. And then Kazakh takes last. And then the 2 did not finishes. That is it for round 5 action here at CSGB. I hope you've had a brilliant time tuning in. I've had a good time commentating as usual. Tomorrow night the F2 lads will be live at 7 o'clock as well for their race at Belgium. You'll be joined by Bowers and James Dovey if he makes a return. But that has been it here for CSGB action. I hope you've enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next week